Hi, this is Professor Michael Smith. With our new data structure, we're now ready to draw a complete scene. We have our instructions for a scene, we have all the icons for a scene, and we now know the answers for a scene. We're not ready to work on the logic, so we're not going to be interacting with this answer set of values, but we can at least draw a scene with the instructions and the icons all based on one data structure, this scene data structure, which is an array of objects that has all the values of a scene in each object. Okay, so we can move back now to the moron.js file, and we're going to first we have to create two functions. One not dissimilar from clear icons and map icons. We need to clear instructions and map instructions. So we're going to create function clear instructions, all right, that needs to work with a selected instruction space. So that means we actually have to first select the instruction space. So if we think of const instruction space is going to be equal to document.query selector, and if we look at it, I believe it's dot instructions. We'll check in just a second to double check and see if that's what we in fact labeled the H2. So if we, or the div with the instructions inside it. So let's have a look inside. And so if we inspect this, you can see, yep, there's a div that has an instruction space, and inside we're building H2s. So we're going to be, this time, not building I elements, but we're going to build an H2 that is going to be, that's going to take the value from our instructions array in the scene. So this is correct, though. We are selecting the parent element. All right, so we can clear instructions similarly to this. Just like clear icons, we have this while loop to select the first element. So we're going to say while there is a, in the instruction space, dot first element child, while there's one, we can, in the instruction space, dot remove child, which one? The instruction space dot first element child. All right, so this, just like the clear icons, so we have clear icons, all right, and that removes icons. Now we have clear instructions, and that removes the instructions as well. So that works. And so the same thing, we need to build, we need to map instructions. And now we don't need to build a build instructions, because the instructions are much simpler. If you look at a scene, the instructions are just simply the string value. That's all we need. So we can do this all at once. We're going to build it and add it at the same time. So we're going to create a function called map instructions. And this is going to take a level as a value. All right, we need to know what level, and levels are basically the index value of a scene. And we're going to track level in a minute. But just by taking a number, it's going to pass a value. So first we're going to make a new instruction, and that's going to be document.create element, and we're going to create this time an H2, right? We want to make an H2. So if you recall, our instructions are H2s inside of our instruction space. All right, so we make an H2, and then we simply say new instruction dot text content is going to be equal to the scene level, all right, and we're going to go into the instructions array and add the first value. Okay, new instruction text content, the scene level. So if we say put a 0 here, that would make it this object, and then we say instructions bracket 0, which is going to make return the string value, where are you now? Okay. And then we can say to the instruction space dot append child, and we can say append the new instruction. All right. And so that's going to allow us to just take clear instructions to remove them and map instructions and just pass, literally just, whoops, pass a number for the level. So let's see if that's working. So if we think we have clear instructions, and then we can say map instructions, and we'll pass 0 as a value, and it gives where are you now. So if we say we say clear instructions, and then we say map instructions of the second scene, you can see click the plus sign, which makes sense. If we look at our scenes, click the plus sign is the first value of the second object in the instructions array. All right. So it looks like that's working. So we have these two tools now to clear instructions, map instructions, clear icons, and map icons based on using the build icon function. So we're finally ready to start drawing an entire scene based on the level. So before we do that, you can imagine it's going to be better to have map icons to also be based on level. All right. Instead of just any icons array, we can now just say, let's call an icons array from within a scene. So if we think scene bracket level, all right, so the level is, again, just like this, scene level calling instructions. We're going to say scene level calling icons, right? And this gives us the entire array of that level. So let's check on that change. So if we have clear icons, right, and then we now call map icons based on a level, so we'll say 0, and you can see that's working. And so we could clear icons, we can map icons based on the second level, and you can see that's working as well. So both are now working based on a level number. So we have this level number, all right, for mapping icons and for mapping instructions, and they're both looking at the common scene data structure, scene level, scene bracket level. So we're using the term level for the sake of tracking the game progress of a player, right? So everybody starts at level 0, and so we're going to keep track of that, and we're going to say let level equals 0 to start the game, all right? And then when we draw a scene, it's going to be based on whatever the level is, all right? So now we're ready to create our draw scene function, which we can call to just draw an entire scene, to clear the icons, map the icons, clear instructions, and map instructions based on the level. So we're ready to create that function that we're going to call draw scene, and it's going to be based on a level. And within that function, we're going to call a bunch of our new functions here. So we would clear icons, then we would clear instructions, and then we could call map icons with the level passed, and then we can map instructions with the level value passed. So if we go to our scene now, if we call draw scene and we pass a level value, we get right to the start of that scene with our instructions and all our values here. If we call draw scene with the second scene level that we have created, we can start that scene. So now we don't have to call each of our functions separately, and they're based on our single data structure of scene. And with all these completed, we're going to be able to next work on the interesting part of the actual game logic, the beginning of how do we manage to know which icon is clicked and match when it's clicked, is it the correct answer?